again, thank you for watching The Forum. I'm your host, Ashley Tate, here with my co-host, Christy Largent, and today we're going to be talking about trails. We're speaking with the nonprofit American Trails, Mike Passo, the executive director, and Candace Mitchell, the director of operations. So thank you guys so much for coming on. I'm excited to talk about
Thanks for having
what you guys are doing, because you're a national organization, right? And you're based here in Reading.
Yes.
So
tell us, what is American Trails? The big question.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll take that. American Trails is a national trails advocacy organization. We've been in existence since 1988, and we're all about making trails happen all across the nation. And we've decided to base here in Reading because it is such an outdoor enthusiast and outdoor focused area, and it's really a perfect place for us.
Yeah. Now, have you guys always been based here?
No, it's kind of wherever the executive director is. We've been in Reading for 3 years now. We were in Palo Cedro, where the prior executive director was, since 2002, when she moved here, knowing that the Sundial Bridge was going to be built. We hosted the 2000 International Trail Symposium in Reading, and she was sold. So she moved from Arizona.
Moved after that?
Yep.
She moved from the first sunniest place to the second sunniest place. Yeah. That's awesome. So what does what do you guys actually do as an organization? I know you have a membership program, so what does that membership entail, and what do you do?
Well, the majority of what we do is work with partners all across the nation, the federal land management agencies and cities and states, and the state trail administrators, to develop trails and the environment that makes trails happen all across the nation. So we're working hard we're a big sponsor of the National Recreation Trails designations, which are all over the country, and there's 2 here in Reading.
The Sacramento River Trail and the Sacramento Rail Trail. Yep.
So now, for lay people, when you say the environment that makes trails happen and the designations, what does that actually mean?
It means we kind of work with legislators to get funding for trails through various means. There's many ways, but the Federal Highway Administration has a trails program that's the largest funding source of trails in the nation, and we're a big supporter of that and making sure that legislation keeps that in place as we go forward. And at this time, it's definitely in jeopardy, so we're working hard to make sure that happens now. And then we also work with land management agencies to help develop guidelines for sustainable trail development and do trainings for the people that go out and build trails or maintain trails, or the volunteers or the Job Corps people that go out. And so they know how to build a trail that'll last 50 years.
Oh, wow.
It seems like kind of overwhelming, the idea of trails everywhere. I mean, back in the day, right, there were walking trails because that's all there were, and then when the highways came in, it kind of shifted everything. And I know when I lived in Hungary, I went with my kid. I was teaching English, and we went on a big excursion back in the mountains, and we just walked on these trails through their mountains, just hours and hours and hours. And they loved it. But it's hard to find that here. I mean, unless you're doing the Appalachian Trail, so where do you even start? Like, what's the scope of your projects? It just seems so overwhelming.
Yeah, well, trails can be a lot of things, and we're actually the primary supporter of trails of all types, so motorized trails and horse trails and hiking trails and biking trails in urban settings. So there's more trails than you think there are. If you think about it, a sidewalk's a trail to some degree, although we don't necessarily advocate for them.
I was going to say
but all the trails through all of your little county parks, those are all often built by people. And they're, so we try and support that
They're intentional.
construction, because they're a huge resource for solving your transportation needs in a city like this. And then there are, everybody thinks of the Appalachian Trail and the big trails that are out there, the big highly cached trails.
Yeah, right.
But there's so many more that are out there, like the National Recreation Trails are generally smaller trails that the city of Reading has. And we put a designation on them saying, this is a really great trail, and we want to get it out there into the public eye and map them, and we're working hard to map them so that people can find them.
Right.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Right.
Now, with your membership, you get a magazine, and Christy, if you can show what that is. So, in that magazine, what kind of things would you see? Like, what would you get? Because when I was just leafing through it, it looked like you had some from. I think this one on here is, you said, from Florida. Is that right?
Yeah, this is a
That
Florida
one's
picture.
from Florida.
Yeah. And so what types of things would you learn if you paid your dues and you got this magazine? What types of things would you?
In the magazine, we generally have just really interesting articles, not just for the trail builders, but also for the trail enthusiasts. And it can be about cutting edge, interesting, hot topic, innovative ideas. And just really great photos that really, show. Like, we really like to include a lot of photos.
Yeah.
Because if you're like, well, we're going to North Carolina, and we're thinking, and we look through here and we see, oh, there's some awesome trails, and these are the pictures, and
Yeah.
And would you see that on your website too?
Yes, correct. We have all of the articles, many more things on our website.
Okay.
Yeah, AmericanTrails.org. It's the largest online resource for trails, greenways, and blueways. And I mean, we only have just a snippet of what will fit in a 40-page magazine that we publish 3 times a year. And being that we're the largest online resource, daily, weekly, we're adding. People will contact us just to say, is this something you can add to your website? And we're like, of course, if someone else is going to Google something with trails, it's just great that we can help kind of be that initial source to kind of outsource to anywhere.
So do you guys, do you ever advise for example, in our city, we've had some issues with crime on our trails and a little bit of fear of people going on the trails by themselves. And so do you guys ever advise cities or regions on how to deal with those types of issues?
We do. We have a technical assistance program that's funded by the Federal Highway Administration that can help partner some of those things, and there has been a lot of research around crime and trails, and there's a difference, I think, between perception and reality.
Absolutely.
A lot of people think, I don't want a trail in my backyard because it's just a magnet for crime, and research has shown that that's not generally the case.
Yeah.
However, there are issues like we were talking about earlier where the trails, they're in the woods. They tend to be darker. They're away from the public eye, so you don't have that sense of well-being there, so you feel like you could be in danger.
Right.
And there are ways around that. Several cities have developed very innovative ways of lighting and doing patrols and volunteer patrols and things like that have worked out well.
Because I think that'd be great for memberships in general. I think that'd be a good way for people to feel like they're getting involved and doing something. Because if you guys were, as the advocates, you go and you advise on things like that, I think would help make people feel a little bit safer, because it's actually very serene on the trail. Not so much scary, you just have to be aware.
Yeah. I know when I moved back to Reading in 2000, one of the big things that pulled me was I was on that trail 3-4 times a week by myself and doing that 6-mile loop, and now I don't go anymore, and I don't know if it's just because it's a lot of reasons, but part of it is the times that I have been out. When I was training for a half marathon, I was running a lot, and I was very anxious because I would cross people that I could tell were on drugs.
Right.
It was a scary time. So any kind of solution you guys can add to that discussion, I think, would be very well received.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because it's a beautiful resource. I mean, there's not a better trail anywhere, I don't think.
Yeah,
so gorgeous. Yeah.
And do you guys include trails from like Whiskeytown, or like all the trail, even that's federal land, I think, right? So is that something?
National Recreation.
Yeah. Any trails anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah, we work with all of the different government agencies: the Bureau of Land Management, Park Service, Forest Service,
Wow.
And so it really, any type of trail.
How many employees do you have?
Right now we have 3 full-time and 2 part-time.
Wow, you're doing so much.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, we
I
work with
expected you to say like 40 or 50. Yeah, no.
We work with a lot of people who we look to a lot of people for the resources. We kind of know who to contact, whether what state they're in, what county they're in, what type of trail. We just kind of know who to contact if we don't have the answers ourselves, and that's what makes us a really great resource.
So what if someone says, gosh, I really think we should have a trail in this area, and they contact you? Would that be their first step, or should they call their city councilor, or what would
really
you recommend?
It would just depend. I mean, we probably would direct, like, where exactly are you located? What type of trail are you interested in building?
Oh, wow.
We get that question a lot too. How do I build this trail? Where do I start? And we get that a lot.
Really? Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's good.
Ultimately, you do need to work through your local agency, whoever owns the land. You're going to need to work with them, but we can help facilitate a lot of that.
That's really good to know.
Yeah, great resource.
Yeah.
So if somebody were coming to you saying, what can I do to best support American trails and the growth of trails in our community, what would you recommend?
It would just, I mean, really, membership is a really great thing. We have individual memberships starting at $19 just to say, hey, we support you guys. And we have memberships for nonprofits, agencies, businesses, all the way up to $250 for the year. You do get the magazine. We have webinars that we're really starting to do monthly, where members at a certain level and above can attend them for free. And I look for the presenters and the topics that I hear are of interest.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, that's a really great resource because not everyone can travel.
Right.
And so I'm working with presenters from all over the world. And
what kind of topics are you covering?
Anything from funding for trails, marketing for trails, how to build a sustainable trail.
Really helpful.
Yeah.
Really practical.
That's a technical.
Yeah.
Technical.
Yeah, that's awesome. So the best way for people to find out more about you is how?
AmericanTrails.org.
So simple. AmericanTrails.org.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming on. Like it actually is very, and I did want to just say that membership, the $19 membership, was actually for a full year. So if you can help out.
Yeah, AmericanTrails.org is where you want to go. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you for having us.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with the second half of our show.
Hi, we are back, and we're still talking about nonprofits. And today we're going to talk to Carrie Caranci, who is the CEO. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And she's with the Shasta Regional Community Foundation. And so you're going to explain to us a little bit about how you help nonprofits and what you guys do. And there's lots of stuff to delve into because you guys do a lot.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
So the Community Foundation was founded in 2000, so not that long ago. And we're the savings account for the community.
Oh, I like that.
So nonprofits are kind of the checking account. Continue to give to them. They need those operational dollars. And the Community Foundation provides a way to create that savings for the future, to create the legacy with our donors and those organizations through their charitable gifts.
For example, give us an example of that in action.
Oh my goodness. So for example, there was a gentleman who had 4 daughters, and he set up a great plan before he passed away, and then he passed. A fund was established in his name, and each year a different daughter in birth order gets to decide where the grants go.
Oh, I love that.
Okay.
So it's really fun to see the differences in the girls and where their priorities lay, whether it's local, national, or international.
So would you say that the Community Foundation, I love the savings account, I love that analogy, but would you also say it's more of a grant giving? Is that what you guys kind of focus on? So you tell me.
Sure.
I don't want to answer.
So we have funds at the foundation, over 115 funds right now.
Wow.
And we manage over $26 million in assets from community members.
Wow.
So the foundation is built by our community for our community, which is just a fabulous concept. We live in an amazing community. And then we provide grants from those funds.
Okay.
We have a few competitive cycles through the McConnell Fund, the Reading Rancheria Community Fund, the Bernie Fund, and then we also give funds that are not competitive from family funds or scholarships, things of that nature.
And what does that mean when you're saying competitive? For a layperson, what would that mean?
Sure, that would be completing a request for proposal, one of our grant applications, and it's all online and easy to find.
Okay, and that's for nonprofits who need funding, and they would go and that's where they would get the money from. They
Correct.
would basically be asking for money from those specific foundations.
Correct. They would
Okay.
go and apply for the specific funds, and we use community panel members to help make those decisions.
I love that.
So, do you have funds that are like you mentioned scholarships? So it would be like a kid is going to go to college and they need money and they're going to study pharmacy. So then they look and see, do you have any fund that would offer money for that need?
Correct. We have over 20 scholarships with all very individualized requirements. And so it's all in one spot online, and whether you go to a certain high school, have a certain degree in mind, or just a certain passion for something, we probably have a scholarship for you.
Wow, so just check out your website, which is,
Absolutely.
what is it?
It is ShastaRCF.org.
ShastaRCF.org. Okay, so Shasta Regional Community Fund is the technical name. What's the connection with the hospital?
So we have no official connection with Shasta Regional Hospital. We love them. We think they're great.
Yeah.
But there's actually no affiliation.
Okay.
And sometimes the name is just confusing, but it is good to clear that up.
Absolutely.
So if someone just wants to give money, and they want to give money to the Shasta Regional Community Foundation, sorry, I tried to fix that. If they just want to give funds, like say they have money laying around and they want to start a fund, how would they do that?
So you'd give us a call and we'd have a conversation. It's really dependent on whatever the donor wants. That's our job, to
love
make
that.
sure that we're honoring the donor's wishes. So whether they start a donor advised fund or want to specify a certain organization through Giving Now or giving through their bequest, we're able to make that happen.
And can you explain a little bit about endowment funds?
Absolutely.
How does that work? What are those?
So endowment funds are perpetual funds at the Community Foundation. They'll never go away.
Okay.
They'll only grow. And they'll be there for past my child's lifetime and his grandchildren's lifetime as well. So if a fund is established with $100,000, it's our job at the foundation to nurture it, invest it in the market, help it grow, so that portion of the earnings every year can go back into the community and grants that they share with us that it needs to happen.
Wow.
So it's like when the Women's Fund was
Absolutely.
created. Why don't you tell us about that? That's such a great example
Absolutely.
of how your organization works.
Yes. So
And how were they connected with you?
we are the home of the Women's Fund, so we provide the umbrella organization for their activities. And the Women's Fund is an excellent example of pure collective philanthropy. So to become a member, it's $200 or $1,000 a year. And that's pretty easy. I can write a check for $200. And that one membership turns into $45,000 in grants. So it's a phenomenal way to see your dollars go further and a collective way to benefit the women and the children in the Reading area.
So how are they, you're the umbrella for them, so people write their check, it's to the Women's Fund.
Correct.
And then that money goes into your guys' holding, for lack of a better word, and then each year the Women's Fund decides, do they spend all of the money that they've collected, or is there a residual left over in sort of in perpetuity? How does that work?
Sure. No, the Women's Fund has both avenues.
Okay.
They have the immediate giving and gifting needs of their operating fund, and we also hold their endowment to make sure the women and their families in the Reading area can have this help perpetually. So we're looking forward and also dealing with the immediate.
Perfect.
That's what makes it such a great organization, you guys, and of course the Women's Fund. And as a member, I think it's obviously a great organization. But I think what's nice for you guys is that you guys also offer resources for nonprofits if they need help or they need advice or anything like that, right? I mean,
Sure.
No, is it just for members? Like if you have a fund there, or is it for anyone?
You know, we're always open to help try to connect people where they need to be, whether it's answering questions in the office or providing a resource where they can go out to find where they need to be.
That's fantastic. That's good to know.
So why would somebody use you? Like, why did the Women's Fund use you as an umbrella rather than just starting their own thing?
Sure, they absolutely could have started their own thing. We would have supported them, but we provide the ease of the back office. So anyone can be a philanthropist. You don't have to be a millionaire. And so we provide the back office for the donors to do the exact same thing Gates or Buffett or Zuckerberg do within your own community at a level that you can do it.
And do you charge a fee, or how do you stay in business?
Sure, we do charge a fee, absolutely. But we feel it's pretty minimal compared to the work that would be done if you were to do it your own.
Right,
on your
if you
own.
were hiring out for somebody else.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What's your favorite project that you've seen come through?
There's so many. We serve Shasta and Siskiyou counties, and we do grant making in counties around that as well. One of the most physical, tangible ones was the Wairika Community Resource Center, and they just needed to replace their windows. Just a simple thing to replace their windows to provide energy efficiency. And through that grant, they were able to save over $500 every month on their bill.
Wow.
So that extra $500 can now go to the programming that they're actually there to do.
Right. Wow.
Now, I have one question about your Giving Tuesday. So that is huge in town, and I know that I want to kind of find out exactly what happens with that money, how nonprofits. Tell us how that all works.
Sure.
It's confusing on the day.
What is Giving Tuesday, in case someone doesn't know?
So North State Giving Tuesday is always the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, and it's an opportunity for online collective giving. So nonprofits register with the Community Foundation to be hosted on our site, and everyone can go to one specific site on one specific day to do all of their charitable giving for year end. And it's a phenomenal way for nonprofits like American Trails to get their name out there with other organizations. It's been a phenomenal success, and we're so proud of the community. They continue to blow us away.
So are you on there?
No, I was actually gonna ask, so how, I've been a new organization, and so I actually did speak with Amanda about all of that, but how would a new organization, a new nonprofit, what do they need to do to get on with Giving Tuesday?
Sure. All of the information for mandatory workshops are located on our Facebook page and website. And so you attend a workshop and you fill out the paperwork and join us. It's a great 8-week work plan. You're not alone. A lot of peer learning, and it's a phenomenal event for us in the community.
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, even just as a going on, like the YMCA did a big promotion. You know, use Giving Tuesday, KIXE. Use Giving Tuesday. And so then you go online and then you start looking, you're like, oh, there's all these different people and places, and it just gives you a real sense of kind of community and empowerment, really, being able to help and support these local organizations.
Absolutely. It goes back to our core mission, which is to connect people who care with causes that matter. And so North State Giving Tuesday is a real tangible way for us to do that, in a way where you, again, don't have to be a millionaire.
Right.
And I'm just going to ask a question that probably a lot of people already know, but what is the benefit for a layperson to go on and do it on that specific day?
It's tax deductible. You can use your credit card or debit card, and a lot of people have rewards for those. And then the nonprofits are incentivized to raise extra dollars. There's hourly prize challenges of random draws. They can earn extra money. And there's also a pool of money there that they will receive a pro rata proportion of that at the end of the day. So they're earning extra money from
just
everybody
for participating.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That is so neat. So the website, once again, is Shasta, what is it again?
ShastaRCF.org.
ShastaRCF.org. Tons of information on there, I think, about what you're doing. And if somebody was just more curious and wanted to talk to you, what would you suggest?
Absolutely. Give me a call, 530-244 1219.
Okay, easy. That's wonderful. And ShastaRCF.org.
Correct.
Very, very important to go on and look at that and support what you guys are doing. It helps all of us.
It does.
Thank
It really
you so
does.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. We really appreciate having you. So thank you for watching the forum. You've had another wonderful show with us. We're glad you watched. Be sure to come back next time where we'll have more interesting people doing interesting things.